Good morning, it's me, your favorite British YouTuber, Waddles here. Welcome back. The second half of the Caves and Cliffs update is updating Minecraft and adding probably one of the coolest zones to ever have been added to the game, the Deep Dark. With 1.18 snapshots starting soon, hopefully at least, today we're going to talk a little bit about it. The Deep Dark is fascinating. Today we're going to talk all about it. In this one we're going to go over some facts and things we know about the Deep Dark so far. If you've always wanted to leave a like, good news, you could do that right now, and you could even subscribe too. It's pretty crazy. I highly recommend. Due to the mysterious nature of the Deep Dark, we're going to have to fill in some blanks here today. We haven't heard too much about the Deep Dark since Minecraft Live back in the fall. Some of the stuff may have ended up changing since then. Some of the stuff also may end up changing before 1.18 drops later this year. I've done my best to sort through all of the rumored features and narrow it down to the features that seem like they're actually going to make it into the update. I'll try and keep you posted with what ends up changing in the snapshot videos once they start. What is the Deep Dark? It's still pretty unclear as to what exactly the Deep Dark is, but it does seem like the Deep Dark is going to be some type of new biome or zone coming to the game in the 1.18 update. The 1.18 update is the second half of the Caves and Cliffs update. Also coming in that update are two other biomes that we know a lot about, the Lush Caves biome and the Dripstone Caves biome. The first mention of the Deep Dark was at Minecraft Live last fall. During Minecraft Live, when the warden was being showed off, we got our first look at the Deep Dark. The Deep Dark is this deep, dark looking cave area with sculk things, of course the warden, and a brand new block, at least at the time. Skip ahead a while and it seems that the block that makes up the Deep Dark has already been added to the game. Grimstone or Deep Slate. Grimstone. Grimstone made it into Minecraft in the 1.17 update. It's one of the best looking blocks in the game. If we compare this block to the block that we saw in the Minecraft Live footage, it's similar. The texture is definitely a little bit different, but similar. The texture was probably changed since it was first shown off in the fall. The Deep Dark has some pretty interesting properties that we know about already. We're going to talk about them in a minute, but those properties definitely make the Deep Dark feel a whole lot like a biome. A biome entirely made out of a new type of stone, most likely Deep Slate. The 1.18 update is entirely redoing caves. Everything about the caves is changing, basically. They're getting bigger, they're getting deeper, they're getting new blocks. It's going to be pretty cool. In the 1.18 update, Bedrock is getting moved from Y0 to Y-64. In the cave generation that we've seen so far, around Y0, something interesting happens. All of the stone in the world gets replaced with Deep Slate. The deeper you go, the more Deep Slate you find. By the time you hit about Y-10, pretty much everything is going to be Deep Slate. In the 1.18 update, if you're looking for the Deep Dark, you're going to have to go below Y0. The Deep Dark will only generate below Y0, but it won't be everywhere below Y0. This was stated by King B-Dogs on Twitter. King B-Dogs is one of Minecraft's developers, and also one of the developers that seems to be working on the Deep Dark the most. This is another fact that heavily points towards the Deep Dark being its own biome. The reveal of the Deep Dark was one of the best Minecraft feature reveals of all time. The atmosphere was literally perfect, the vibes were super creepy. Now when the Deep Dark was revealed, it was actually something else being revealed. The Warden. The Warden is the biggest thing that we know about the Deep Dark so far. The Warden is a brand new mob coming to the game in 1.18. This creature lives inside of the Deep Dark, and it's insanely dangerous. Really dangerous. The Warden is this creepy looking tall, strong mob, kind of looks like an alien, really weird looking, that is also blind. Oh yeah, and the Warden is insanely dangerous. It can like two-hit you, even if you're in like full netherite. This is basically boss tier stuff. In the reveal footage, we also got to look at what the Warden can do. The Warden will be able to affect the environment around it. It'll basically dim the lights for a second when it gets closer to the player. The whole Warden dimming thing is going to make the Deep Dark, a place that already feels really creepy, or seems like it will, even more creepy. This means that the Warden will be the very first mob that can actually affect the lighting, or at least appear to affect the lighting. I'm sure the light level won't actually go down, but things will get dark for a second, giving you a warning to leave. The Warden is massive. This is from a King B-Dogs tweet. The Warden is taller than the Iron Golem. The Iron Golem is 3 blocks tall. That's going to put the Warden at about 4 blocks tall, which is insane. King B-Dogs also revealed on Twitter that the Warden is made up of sculk, just like the blocks around the Warden. So the Warden lives by the sculk, meaning the sculk is also in the Deep Dark. The sculk sensor was added to Minecraft in 1.17, kind of. It's one of those yes but actually no kind of things. The sculk sensor was added to the game, but if you want the sculk sensor, you have to use the command, so it's not really in the game. There's currently no crafting recipe either, and it's unclear if the sculk sensor will ever actually get a crafting recipe. The sculk sensor is weird. The Warden is made out of sculk. Making a pretty educated guess here, I'm pretty sure the sculk sensor is also made out of sculk. In 1.18, the sculk sensor will definitely be tied to the Deep Dark in some way. It's still not clear if the sculk sensor is actually going to generate in the Deep Dark, kind of like it looked like it did in the Warden reveal footage, or if we're going to have to go down to the Deep Dark and get sculk blocks to actually craft this thing, but it'll be related to the Deep Dark. Personally, I'm really hoping that the sculk sensor does end up naturally generating in the deep dark, because I think it'll make this place even more dangerous. I mean, imagine moving through it, and then a sculk sensor goes off, which sets the warden off, and then you have to get out of there, all because of the sculk sensor's noise. I think that would be pretty cool, and add a lot of danger to the zone. It could also add a lot of randomization to the deep dark. Like, you can't just move around and sneak and you'll be good, because what if a bat spawns and sets the sculk sensor off, and then the warden comes over near you and finds you somehow? Definitely could be dangerous too. As cool as the sculk sensor is, and as much depth as this thing has, it doesn't stop there for sculk though. There are actually a lot of sculk things coming to the game in 1.18, and all of these things are most likely going to be tied to the deep dark. Back to Minecraft Live one more time, there were a lot of sculk blocks shown off. Of course, we have the sculk sensor, which we've seen, but there's also the sculk block that looks like it's on endstone, the sculk solid block, the sculk layer block, the one that's on top of grass, and then also the sculk block that has like a strange marking in it. It kind of looks like a tire mark to me, so maybe cars are coming to Minecraft in 1.18. It almost looks like some of these new sculk blocks, at least the ones that are on top of grass, are going to be able to spread. Maybe these sculk things will be able to spread through the deep dark and slowly infect things, turning the whole deep dark into sculk. Absolutely not confirmed at all. A mechanic like that could be really interesting and actually give players something to do long term in their world. Maybe you have to stop the sculk from spreading for some reason, or something bad will happen, like wardens everywhere. We don't know too much about them quite yet, only the sculk sensor, but I have a pretty good feeling that the sculk blocks are going to be a huge part of 1.18. It seems like there's so much behind them, and so much mystery that we don't know. One thing that we do know though, the sculk sensor, the warden, and all of those other mysterious sculk blocks, they're all related somehow, and they'll be in the deep dark. The Mushroom Islands biome, one of the rarest biomes in the entire game, and also one of the most interesting biomes. And not only is this biome made up of a unique block, mycelium, and there are gigantic mushrooms growing everywhere, it also comes with a unique mob, the mushroom. But it doesn't stop at mycelium and mushrooms. Did you know that the Mushroom Island is basically spawn-proof, like on its own, without having to light it up? No matter how late and dark it is, hostile mobs, like creepers and zombies, will never spawn in the Mushroom Islands biome. They just can't. It's impossible. And the deep dark? It's going to be just like that. Yet another property that makes it seem like the deep dark is definitely its own biome. Now this was confirmed by, again, wait for it, the King. Somewhat recently on Twitter, in a reply to a call-out tweet to somebody, King B-Dogs confirmed that other mobs, like creepers and zombies, will not be spawning in the deep dark. It's all going to just be the warden, which is so exciting. It means a couple things. The first thing that it means, the deep dark is going to be insanely unique feeling. You're going to go into this place and it's just going to be empty, which is going to make the deep dark feel really eerie and creepy. You're going to have these new gigantic caves, or at the least new caves, that are insanely dark because of the block that makes them up, Grimstone. It's really dark, and they're going to be empty. That's creepy. To me, it also signals a gigantic thing about the warden. The warden is not going to be weak. This thing is probably going to be really strong. So strong that they see it as unfair that you would have to deal with other mobs like zombies and creepers at the same time. That's going to be awesome. And then also, most likely, least likely, maybe there's more sculk things coming to the game that'll exist in the deep dark biome. Not too sure about that one. To me, it's more likely that this is a warden balance because the warden is meant to be insanely strong. But you never know. No matter what though, whatever the reason, no other hostile mobs will be spawning in the deep dark biome. It'll all be the warden. Last but not least, I saved this one to the end of the video because it's really strange. The warden exists in the deep dark. Nothing else exists in the deep dark. Except maybe, a brand new structure. Back to the warden deep dark reveal footage one last time. So the player is walking around in the deep dark. It's getting dark. It's pretty creepy. Definitely atmospheric. Looking around, waiting. Okay, nice. They spin cobwebs, and then they move into a room right here. This room right here. What is that thing? Is that a new structure? We'll get another look at it, but it definitely seems like a new structure generating down here. There's a blast furnace, a chest, 3 barrels, and a couple other things down here. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find the source on this one, but I swear, at some point it was mentioned that this structure was man-made and just kind of added in for the demonstration, but yeah, couldn't find the source on that thing. A new structure found only in the deep dark that the warden guards would definitely make sense though if you think about it. It would give players a reason to come down into the deep dark. So I've done my best to recreate the structure in a world based off of that video. Here's what we have. We have a chest, a blast furnace, some barrels. It's a pretty small room. Depending on what the entrance of this room is like, if it ends up making into the game, because the warden is so big, the player could use these rooms for hiding. We could use the blast furnace for smelting up ores and the storage for storage. Personally, I really feel like a structure like this would be great. It would add a lot of lore to the game, and definitely an incentive for players to come down here. Maybe inside of this structure, you could find some really good loot, or just some random loot, like diamond armor, diamond tools, that's always a good thing. Maybe even enchanted books, those are always great for loot. Another thing that could fit down here that I feel should be in more loot tables, tipped arrows, and then maybe even copper. That's a 1.17 edition. Being able to come down to one of these things, get really lucky, and find stacks of copper inside of a chest could be pretty sweet. Will they actually be in the update though? I'm not too sure, but it definitely would make sense, and absolutely, it would be really cool. The Deep Dark. It's a pretty mysterious zone. We know a lot about it, but at the same time, we don't know very much about it. As of right now, the beginning of July, that's pretty much it when it comes to what we know about the Deep Dark so far. Did I miss anything? If I did, throw it down in the comments. What are you most excited for about the Deep Dark? Violet Pirate, 4Gay99, Dark Panther 7. Thank you all so much for the support. Drop a follow on my Twitter to see me tweet. Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. It's been me, UK Boy. Goodbye.